Welcome back to my annual Oscar series where I talk about all the Oscar categories except for the short film ones. I rank all the nominees per category according to who I think deserves to win the Oscar, and then I make a prediction for who I think will win that Oscar. So right now we're going to be talking about Best Costume Design. And the nominees are Allied, Joanna Johnston; Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Colleen Atwood; Florence Foster Jenkins, Consolata Boyle; Jackie, Madeline Fontaine; and La La Land, Mary Zofres. Now maybe it's because Mad Max Fury Road won this Oscar last year, but I think this is kind of a boring list in my opinion. It would have been cool, I think, to see something really different like Mad Max, or if they nominated something like The Witch in this category this year, I think that would have been really interesting. But as it stands, like to the common layperson like me who is not well versed in costume design, these costume nominees really just kind of come off sort of the same to me. But I'm gonna rank them anyway, so at 5th place in terms of who I think deserves to win the Oscar, I'm gonna give it to Allied. I'm not an expert, like I said, with costumes, but I really just don't find anything that special with the costumes in Allied. I mean, sure, they look good. I think the costumes in any period piece in this day and age will look good, but the way I evaluate these nominees is that I look for story and character told through costumes, and this movie just didn't have any of that for me. It's a very surface level film with surface level costumes in my opinion. Now at 4th place, I'm gonna give it to Jackie. Jackie Kennedy, the woman herself, undoubtedly had an iconic look about her. And the costumes here, I think, really do capture that. They capture just how she presented herself in public in a very deliberate way. Like, she really kind of bottled herself up and presented a version of her for the media. And I think that's really interesting that you can kind of see that reflected in her costumes, especially later on when she gets blood on her outfit. Like, they use that really well. However, the reason why Jackie is so low in my ranking is the fact that it's really just Jackie Kennedy's costumes that stand out to me. Everyone else in the film really doesn't stand out to me. And I understand that Jackie is a character study, but there are a lot of characters in the film that I wish would have popped out just as much as Jackie Kennedy. Now at 3rd place, I'm gonna give it to La La Land. I love how simple yet elegant all the costumes are in La La Land. I love that they sort of reflect how the film itself has one foot in reality and one foot in fantasy, because the characters of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone really, are kind of living in their own sort of fantasy world, and yet they have to deal with the realistic consequences of them trying to pursue their dreams in modern day LA. So I really like that the costumes aren't that extravagant. And Mia's dresses, like every single one of her dresses, is really nice to look at. They just move really nicely when she dances. The colors of her dresses really work well with the cinematography. So I guess the reason why this is at number 3 for me is simply because the other two films that I haven't mentioned yet do more in terms of character, I think. So at 2nd place, I'm going to give this to Florence Foster Jenkins. The costumes in Florence Foster Jenkins are the definition of decadence. They're really extravagant. There are really extravagant people, rather, in Florence Foster Jenkins, and the characters' outfits are almost too much for her, which I think really reflect her own self-perception and other people's perception of her, the fact that they don't take her seriously. And it's great to see kind of like Florence Foster Jenkins' costumes juxtaposed with the costumes of the other people in her circle, her so-called friends, because they really are, extravagant and stuff, but Florence Foster Jenkins, while she kind of looks like a joke to them, is really more sincere than any of them. I also just really love that they didn't try to make Meryl Streep's costumes look modern or flattering or sexy in any way. They really look like the clothes that someone of Florence Foster Jenkins' age would look, and kudos to them for that accuracy. However, at 1st place, the film that I think deserves to win this Oscar is actually Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. First of all, the costumes in the Harry Potter franchise are already great. Like, they're iconic, and they just they carry with them a certain feeling, but there's a cool, sleek new vibe to the costumes in Fantastic Beasts that I think really fits the the jazzy atmosphere of the 1920s. And I love Newt Scamander's robe that makes him automatically look like a Hufflepuff for some reason. I love Tina's outfits. I love everyone's outfits in this movie, especially with all the wizard characters. They feel like characters who are somewhere in the middle of being wizards and being characters from The Great Gatsby. So I really sort of like the atmosphere that their costumes help give off. But my favorite costumes in Fantastic Beasts are actually the costumes worn by Ezra Miller's character and the people in his circle, because they look like, you know, they're straight out of The Crucible. They really, you know, feel like they're from a witch hunt movie. And I love that Fantastic Beasts had that darker side to it. In fact, that was my favorite part of the film that I wish they kind of explored more. But, you know, as it is, I love that there's so much variety in the costumes in Fantastic Beasts. However, in terms of who I think will win this Oscar, I'm going to place my bet on Jackie. Common wisdom would dictate voting for Colleen Atwood, who did the costumes for Fantastic Beasts, but I think there's something just too iconic about Jackie Kennedy to be ignored, especially in the American imagination, and of course the Oscars are an American organization mostly, so I think they're gonna give it to Jackie. Alright, so those are my thoughts on best costume design. What do you guys think of the nominees this year? Who do you think should win? Who do you think will win? Whatever you guys think, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.